Marvel's MODOK series is released today for all of the Marvel-loving adults. Please don't let Tim see this one. And Dave Filoni is finally promoted as Executive Creative Director for Lucasfilms. We've got all of that and more on this episode of The Weekly Geek. Terry, roll the clip. Hello AAC Universe and welcome back to The Weekly Geek. I am your host Grand Admiral Joey and thank you for living life animated. If you are new here to the Animated Apparel Company YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe and smash that bell notification button. New episodes of The Weekly Geek will come out every single Friday bringing you the best geek news from the week. And one last thing, we're not in the studio right now. I'm traveling abroad, but the show's got to continue. There's still news out there that has to be reported on, so the show won't stop, but the studio might look a little different for now. For the first bit of geek news, Marvel's new series MODOK is released today, and I personally haven't gotten to see it yet because this recording does come out a day before the video is released, but I'm super excited to get to see this one. MODOK is an animated series following the supervillain Modoc, aka mental organism designed only for killing. The series is going to be more of a comedy following Modoc and his very small and minute victories. Although it is an animated and Marvel series like I mentioned, it is an adult animation, so it's probably best to let your kids sit out this one, but hey, I'm not a parent, you do you run your family how you want. Who am I to say? And don't worry if you're in the US, little Tim won't have access to MODOK on Disney Plus because it's actually being released on Hulu, a platform not specifically geared for kids in mind. If you live in other countries where Hulu isn't available, like Australia, the UK, or Canada, MODOK will be released every Friday on a weekly basis to Disney Plus, but only to accounts that don't have parental restrictions, so little Tim doesn't accidentally swallow a cartoon rated R pill. And as the stream gods intended, Hulu is going to be releasing this entire series at once, making it binge watchable to those that want to. People like me that don't have a life, that just watch TV, that's all we got. That's really all we have sometimes. So let me know, will you be watching MODOK? If you have already, what was your reaction? And do you think Marvel should sprinkle in more of this kind of content similar to this? I'd love to know your thoughts below. In anime news and more streaming news, a new Capcom CG animated series will be released on Netflix July 8th. Longtime and highly praised game series Resident Evil will be releasing a TV series called Resident Evil Infinite Darkness with the lead characters Leon S. Kennedy and Claire Redfield from Resident Evil 2 games in 1998 and also the 2019 remake. Leon is also famed for being the lead in one of the most praised games ever, Resident Evil 4. The characters will be joined by President Graham, who debuted in Resident Evil 4, along with 5 other characters that don't have any ties yet to the series, but they'll be playing supporting roles to Leon and Claire. Capcom's Resident Evil Infinite Darkness will be set in 2006 following the events of Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City and the zombie outbreak that unfolded then. It'll be interesting to see how fans take to this new series, as in the past, there's been a disconnect between video games and the way that they translate over to film and movies. From an outsider looking in that's never really gotten into the Resident Evil games because of their many sequels and prequels and storyline, this movie does look promising. Luckily, we won't have to wait too long as we'll get to experience this undead story in the dead of summer, July 8th. Now, let's take a moment to pay some bills to help keep the lights on in this place, so make sure to head over to animatedapparelcompany.com right now. We've got all of your merch from anime, comics, 90s cartoons, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, we've got it all, and a link to the site is below, so make sure to check that out. Also, The Weekly Geek is going to start having a special product for each episode that will specifically be for our audience. Each of those specific products will have a special and greater discount code than any other code that you can use on our store. This week's Weekly Geek product is a classic distressed purple Batman t-shirt. On this t-shirt, the Batman TV show logo styles a vintage and distressed look that's very bold on a very purple shirt. Pick up this shirt using the offer code WEEKLYGEEK to get 30% off this shirt. It's basically a personal thank you from me and our team at AAC for helping support this show and the channel. And this code is only going to be active for 1 week, and each product is going to change with each episode of The Weekly Geek, so don't miss out on this awesome deal. And last thing before we jump back into the news, I just want to mention that our wonderful AAC team brings content freshly served to you 3 times a week for a small price of being absolutely free. Just remember to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell notification icon so you can be alerted anytime Aaron talks about superheroes, Ash talks about anime, Jake brings us Nintendo, and I cover Star Wars and your favorite news show. In Star Wars related news, our boy and legend Dave Filoni just got promoted to Executive Creator Director of Lucasfilms. If somehow you don't know about Dave Filoni, Filoni, he was personally contacted by George Lucas to create the first Star Wars Clone Wars animated series. Since Disney's buyout from Lucas, he's helped create and direct many Star Wars series including the new Clone Wars, Rebels, The Mandalorian, and The Bad Batch. In my opinion, each of those stories separately are better than the 3 newest movies combined, so having someone with his experience, dedication, and creative talent at the wheel will be a big help in the future of Star Wars. Not only will Filoni have some kind of hand and direction in the future of Star Wars movies and their series, but he'll also be giving insight on upcoming Lucasfilm movies like Indiana Jones 5. So now that Filoni is climbing the ladder, it only gives me hope that someone at Disney will make the move and finally kick Emperor Kathleen Kennedy out of the driver's seat as president of Lucasfilm in order to put the talent of Filoni in its place. I personally believe that her days are numbered at Disney just based on how Dave has picked up the pieces that Kathleen has made from this fandom. And just for a little piece of extra Star Wars news, and actually this was going to be the topic for today's news segment, there's been rumors going around that Brie Larson would be dyeing her hair red to play the Jedi wife of Luke Skywalker named Mara Jade. Mara is a character that was tossed away to Legends during Disney's takeover like other Legends characters including Grand Admiral Thrawn, Talon Karrde, and Darth Revan. I was questioning this rumor a little bit, but now that we know Filoni is in the driver's seat and having a much bigger role in the galaxy, I'm thinking something like this might happen as he's been known to pull Legends material and characters from their graves like Grand Admiral Thrawn. Let me know in the comments if you think putting Dave Filoni in charge was a good move for Disney, and do you think Kathleen Kennedy should be worried about her role as the franchise president? And for the last bit of news, DC had a few announcement drops this week, including the highly anticipated animated film Injustice: Gods Among Us. This film is reported to be very similar to the script of Injustice, the video game from 2013. DC also announced Batman: The Capped Crusader, a series geared for new and old Batman fans that follows the hero before he becomes the vengeful Dark Knight. And for the last bit of news, DC also released more looks into Robert Pattinson's Batman suit, which in my opinion puts more goth into Gotham City, and it's probably not too early to start using hashtag #SadBatSummer, and Twitter is having a field day with it. And that's going to be all for this episode of The Weekly Geek. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on these topics, as I'm super interested in hearing from our AAC universe. If you want to check out some of our most recent videos, Jake just dropped a video about the new Nintendo game called Game Builder Garage, and Aaron brings us some knowledge and facts in his Eternals video. I'll see you all next week in the next Weekly Geek. Bye!